Good evening, my dear listeners. So, here we are to read the next story, the fifth story from the book Folktales of Bengal, written by Reverend Lal Bihari Dey. And this book, as I am very privileged to get this copy of this very old book. The first publication of this book was in the year 1883, and afterwards this particular copy was published in the year 1912. So let's start the story, the fifth story, the story of Sweth Vashanta. There was a rich merchant who had an only son whom he loved passionately. He gave to his son whatever he wanted. His son wanted a beautiful house in the midst of a large garden. The house was built for him, and the grounds were laid out into a fine garden. One day, as the merchant's son was walking in his garden, he put his hand into the nest of a small bird called Tuntuni and found it in an egg, which he took and put it in an almirah which was dug into the wall of his house. He closed the door of the almirah and thought no more of the egg. Though the merchant's son had a house of his own, he had no separate establishment. At any rate, he kept no cook for his mother. For his mother used to send him regularly his breakfast and dinner every day. The egg which he deposited in the wall almirah one day burst, and out of it came a beautiful infant, a girl. But the merchant's son knew nothing about it. He had forgotten everything about the egg, and the door of the wall almirah had been kept closed, though not locked. Ever since the day the egg was put there, the child grew up within the wall almirah without the knowledge of the merchant's son or of anyone else. When the child could walk, it had the curiosity one day to open the door and seeing some food on the floor, the breakfast of the merchant's son sent by his mother. It came out and ate a little of it and returned to its cell in the wall almirah. As the mother of the merchant's son sent him always more than he could himself eat, he perceived no diminution in the quantity. The girl of the wall almirah used every day to come out and eat a part of the food, and after eating used to return to her place in the almirah. But as the girl got older and older, she began to eat more and more. Hence, the merchant's son began to perceive a diminution in the quantity of his food. Not dreaming of the existence of the Wal Almira girl, he wondered that his mother should send him such a small quantity of food. He sent word to his mother complaining of the insufficiency of his meals and of the slovenly manner in which the food was served up in the dish, for the girl of the Wal Almira used to finger the rice, curry, and other articles of food, and as she always went in a hurry back into the Almira that she might not be perceived by anyone, she had no time to put the rice and other things into proper order after she had eaten part of them. The mother was astonished at her son's complaint, for she gave always a much larger quantity than she knew her son could consume, and the food was served up on. Okay, here the girl of the wall Almira. She is climbing down from the wall Almira. So let's go back to the story. a silver plate neatly by her own hand. But as her son repeated the same complaint day after day, she began to suspect foul play. She told her son to watch and see whether anyone ate part of it unperceived. Accordingly, one day when the servant brought the breakfast and laid it in a clean place on the floor, the merchant's son, instead of going to bathe as it had hitherto been his custom, hid himself in a secret place and began to watch. In a few minutes, he saw the door of the wall almirah open. A beautiful damsel of sweet 16 stepped out of it, sat on the carpet spread before the basket, and began to eat. The merchant's son came out of his hiding place, and the damsel could not escape. Who are you, beautiful creature? You do not seem to be earthborn. Are you one of the daughters of the gods? Asked the merchant's son. The girl replied, I do not know who I am. This I know, that one day I found myself in yonder almirah and have been ever since living in it. The merchant's son thought it strange. He now remembered that 16 years before he had put in the almirah an egg he had found in the nest of a tuntuni bird. The uncommon beauty of the wall almirah girl made a deep impression on the mind of the merchant's son, and he resolved in his mind to marry her. The girl no more went into the almirah, but lived in one of the rooms of the spacious house of the merchant's son. The next day, the merchant's son sent word to his mother to the effect that he would like to get married. His mother reproached herself for not having long before thought of her son's marriage, and sent a message to her son to the effect that she and his father would the next day send ghataks to different countries to seek for a suitable bride. The merchant's son sent word that he had secured for himself a most lovable young lady, and that if his parents had no objection, he would produce her before them. Accordingly, the young lady of the Wal Almirah was taken to the merchant's house, and the merchant and his wife were so struck with the matchless beauty, grace, and loveliness of the stranger that without asking any question as to her birth, the nuptials were celebrated. In course of time, the merchant's son had two sons. The elder he named Swet, and the younger Basanta. Here I must say Swet means white, which which actually signifies the auspiciousness and also the white color, and Vasanta, it means the season, the most fruitful season is the spring. That is what it actually denotes by this particular word. The old merchant died, and so did his wife. Swet and Basanta grew up fine lads, and the elder was in due time married. Sometime after Swet's marriage, his mother, the Wal Almira lady, now she is lady, right? So Wal Almira lady also died, and the widower lost no time in marrying a young and beautiful wife. As Shwet's wife was older than his stepmother, she became the mistress of the house. The stepmother, like all stepmothers, hated Shwet and Vasanta with the perfect hatred, and the two ladies were naturally often at loggerheads with each other. So, my dear friends, today I am going to stop here. We will read the next part of the story tomorrow. So, till then, bye bye.